like right before I like quit, um, we went to this call. That was a 20-year-old girl who her mom found her dead in her bedroom. So we're working this code, and it's a black family in the hood, and I'm not going to get into like the really dark parts of this because it got really dark, but I wind up hanging out with the mom in the bedroom, just like making sure she's okay. And I go talk to the guy who was in charge. I was like, "We're going to call this, right? Like she's dead. Like we showed up and she was flatlined and ice cold, right? Like we should never worked her to begin with. Like she was dead, dead." Um, but he said no. Um, he was like, I'm because her family was outside, and like, he was like, no, I don't think we're safe if we tell these people that she's dead here. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? I was like, we're not gonna take this dead girl out of a building doing CPR to a hospital where they're going to pronounce her the second we get into the door just because you're afraid of black people. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, just tell these people that their daughter's dead, let them have some closure. um, and he's like, no, like we're not safe. And so they worked her to the hospital, where they called her the second she walked through the door. And her family showed up in the ambulance bay, and we had to tell them to go inside and talk to the doctor. Because, instead of me telling this woman that her daughter was dead after I'd spent a half hour in a bedroom with her building a connection and where her family was and she could have been with her people, we dragged this poor girl out through a building. And now her family has to hear it from a stranger they've never even met before.
Not to mention the cost.
Yeah, the cost, the financial cost, and get saddled with like a $30,000 bill on top of it. And so I'm standing there and I'm talking with the guy that made that decision and the other supervisor who was on scene. And that's when the family comes up and they're like, screaming. They know that their kid they don't know she's dead, but they know that she's very sick and probably going to die. And they all watch them screaming and go inside. And the supervisor is like, I mean, like, I know it's a serious situation, but I mean, those people are just so emotional sometimes. And I just, like, I felt my fist come up and I just dropped because I was cleaning the monitor, and I just dropped it and I just walked away and I went home. Like, because I was going to beat the shit out of a supervisor in the parking lot of an ambulance bay of a hospital. And like, I wound up quitting like 2 months later. But yeah, that's what that was like. So like, that's my experience with like white people in public safety and like trying to get people to like, that was like last year, like, so sometimes I get a little doomer about it when I think about trying to reach out to people, because like that's technically a community leader.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that we've seen time and time again that community leaders of all different types seem to engage in questionable activities, have questionable opinions, and commit crimes.
Yeah. And I mean, like, technically speaking, like, nobody there violated any policies, right? Like, if I were to raise that objection, like, I would just get told, I mean, like, if they didn't feel safe, they didn't feel safe. And, they did what they thought was appropriate.
It seems amazing that there would be no policy.
So you can always work a cardiac arrest to the hospital unless they're like in rigor mortis or in pieces. It's provider judgment, which is there for a reason, right? Like sometimes you do get people back, but no, not for that reason. Well, so like I have legitimately been in that situation where like I've had somebody in the house who had like a gun and was like, if you don't bring my mom back, I'm going to fucking kill you. Like, sure. Yeah. We'll do pushies to the hospital. Like, we're just going to get the fuck out of here. Right. Like, I've been in that spot. That was not this spot. There's 15 black people outside and they're being loud because their baby girl is dead on the floor. And you don't want to deal with somebody who doesn't look like you being emotional. That's what that was. which is fucked up. Like, everybody knew this girl was dead.
Thanks for watching. For access to the full-length conversation and all of the 2-hour-long unedited conversations that I've had on race, click the support link in the description below. Thanks for your support, and see you next time.